Hello and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer, the board game review show that really likes board games. Well, that's rather self-evident, isn't it? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, today I'm super excited because Conan O'Brien has got his very own board game. It's called Conan, and it's from... What's that? Different Conan. Has he still got red hair? In Conan from Monolith, up to 4 players take on the role of Conan and his hero friends as they attempt to do battle with the evil overlord, who is another player. Yes, this is another all-on-one dungeon crawl adventure, ladies and gentlemen. Now, how the game works here is, of course, each player gets his own player board. Each of the heroes gets his own player board. They also get a number of crystals. Now, your crystals are kind of how you're going to move and take actions in the game. Now, first of all, of course, you have to find the scenario. There are different scenarios in this book, and it's not a campaign. You don't progress through them. You can kind of play any one of them in any order. But you go ahead, you look, you see what scenario you want to play. You set it up, and then you go ahead and engage in it. And the different boards, you know, there's a castle, there's a tavern, there's ships, there's a village. You have the different various scenarios take place in these locations. So you go ahead, you set them up depending on what the scenario is and what their victory condition is. Usually they're timed, so there's kind of a time track to keep track of the turns. And you go ahead, you prepare to do battle with Conan and his enemies. Now, at the start of the hero phase, there's a few things that's going to occur. First of all, the heroes are going to move any gems that they've got in their actions to their fatigue area. Then they're going to choose a stance. They can either kind of be active or passive. If they're active, they're going to go out, they're going to do things. If they're passive, they're not going to really do anything that turn unless someone attacks them. So they can take a number of gems from their fatigue zone and put it back into kind of their reserve. Now, again, if they're kind of taking a passive stance, they're kind of conserving energy, so they get more of the gems back. And of course, these gems are kind of your currency in the game for how you can move and maneuver. So it's very important to spend those resources wisely. Next, heroes take their actions. Now, they can always move up to, I believe, 2 spaces. They get just a free move, doesn't cost them anything if they do it at the beginning of their turn. But then what they can do is they can spend some of their gems to take different actions. They can spend more gems to kind of move additional spaces. They can spend the gems to attack. Essentially, for every gem they spend, they can roll another dice. Unless they've already got cards or spells or other things that allow them to roll dice, you can increase the number of dice you get to roll. You can also manipulate objects. You have to, again, roll dice, but however many gems you spend give you more dice to roll to manipulate objects, to pick things up, to carry things, to open up chests to find various equipment that you might use. And various equipment can be cumbersome, so you can only carry so much equipment. You can't just load up on everything. So you kind of go around and around, or you can go in any order, really. You can kind of discuss who goes here, who's here. There's no kind of, you don't go clockwise or counterclockwise for the heroes. You just go however you want to do it. And as soon as everybody passes, maybe they don't want to spend any more gems, they want to save it for if they're attacked, then it proceeds to the villain's turn, the overlord's turn. Now, if a hero is attacked during his turn, he can do a guard action by spending gems from his reserve to kind of defend and to roll dice. Now, how battle works in this game is essentially you roll dice, the overlord rolls dice, and then you add up all of the axes, and whoever has whatever the difference is, you kind of compare that against the armor value of the defender, and whatever the armor value is, if it exceeds that armor value, then that person or that monster is going to take hits. Now, the Overlord's turn is a little different. He doesn't have a player sheet like the other players do. Rather, he has something called the Book of Skelos. It's a kind of a big plastic kind of weird book thing. I don't know how to describe it. And what you're going to do is in the center, you're going to, depending on the scenario, you're going to put a little sheet there, or a little cardboard thing that's going to tell you how many, at the beginning of each turn, how many of your gems you're going to get back every turn from your fatigue to your reserve. And that's going to be kind of set, but of course there may be things that alter it later. But that's kind of generally what you're going to get. Now, below, you're also going to have a number of your monsters that you're controlling on the board. And they're denoted, of course, with little pegs that go on the bottom, not pegs, little rings on the bottom in different colors that kind of illustrate which monster group they are and what they're a part of. Now, what you do is you can spend gems on the number of spaces. So where the various monsters are located on the track determines how much it's going to cost to activate them. Once you activate them, you take that card and you put it to the very back and you slide them up. So now it's going to take a while to activate those again because you've already activated them. And unless you want to pay a lot of gems to activate those same characters again. Otherwise, you're just paying money to activate, you're paying the gems rather to activate the various troops. They're kind of the same thing. They can move, they can attack, but you're not doing the individual movements and individual attacks like you are with the heroes. It's just they're activated, boom, they can move this many, they attack with this many die, and that's pretty much how that system works there. Again, they too can do, you can spend your gems to do guard actions with them as well. Now, you may get kind of a reinforcement card, an event card that pops up along your track that you can activate, and that will maybe give you more characters. You can kind of bring more characters back onto the board to help you in your nefarious plans if you're the Overlord. Now, that is a very basic idea of the game. You're going to go back and forth trying to, if you're the heroes, meet your objective. If you're the Overlord, to prevent them from meeting their objective. Again, usually it's timed. You got to do it before certain, so many turns. If the heroes can meet their objectives, they win the game. If the Overlord prevents them, then of course the Overlord wins the game, and that is Conan. So there's of course more going on here. That's just a very brief, very bare overview of the game. Now, I got to tell you, first of all, this is a game there's been some controversy about. Because, there's boobs in this game. I don't know how else to say it. There's boobs in it. There's, on the Heroes rulebook, there's some boobs there. And some of the figures there's boobs. And there's not a lot of female characters in this game. There's only one who's non-playable, a princess whom you have to rescue in the first scenario. And then there's one character who, say, well, all you can do is make the heroes more powerful, the male heroes more powerful. So there's a lot of people that don't like this game based on those factors. I'm not going to get into that debate. I'm not even going to touch that thing. I really don't care to be involved in that. I'm just going to talk about the game on its own merits. Production-wise, it's beautiful. Minis are great. You got this great snake. He comes in the first scenario, and he's awesome looking. Minis just really look good. The boards look really, really good here, and all the tokens and the Book of Skelos, it all looks great. It's a top-notch production from top to bottom. Really, really think they did a good job here. Gameplay is very interesting. I must confess, I'm kind of at a point where dungeon crawlers don't really excite me like they used to. I used to just really think they were neat. Now, I don't know. I guess played too many of them, and they're losing their charm. But this one felt kind of fresh. It felt very fresh and new because of that system of where you're activating using the gems to activate movement and to activate not just movement, but your actions, your attacks and manipulations and stuff, and where you're spending resources there. And then combat's, of course, very easy. You're rolling die, and who's ever got more die. There's just no bells and whistles there, which is kind of nice, because it seems like everybody's trying to find ways to manipulate die, and this die lets you do that, and this die lets you do that. And this was just basic numbers game with the roll of the die. I like that. I thought it worked really quite well. So those mechanics are awesome. And then, too, the Book of Skelos, how that works. And how when you're the Overlord and you activate a guy, but then you want to activate him again, but it's going to cost you too much. And you've got to constantly watch your resources. When we played the first scenario, and I was the Overlord, we played that. One of my big problems was I had him trapped, and I was coming at him, but I had spent all of my gems trying to get to that position. So on my turn, when they came after me, I couldn't defend myself because I didn't have any gems to spend for guard actions. And of course, they won just by the skin of their teeth because of that. And it was very, it was a game where I was constantly faced with tough decisions. That's what you'll find in Conan. How do you want to spend? I mean, each turn, how do you want to spend your resources? The game this reminded me the most of because of that is probably my favorite dungeon crawl, and that is Level 7 Omega Protocol. Level 7 Omega Protocol had just a brilliant way of the players activating their units and then by turn activating what the bad guy was doing. This is, of course, not quite like that, but still there's the same sense of, gee, do I want to spend all my resources to move and to attack when I may be on defense, or I may need to do this? And so each round is each turn you're taking is really this battle of, do I want to get stuff done, or do I want to kind of manage my player's economy here with the gems? And it's brilliant. It's very well done. I'm just going to say, Conan blew me away. I thought at best I'd like it. I was not expecting to love it, and I love it. One of the best games of 2016. I've been saying that a lot, but this really is something special. I've really enjoyed Conan. So the recommendation for the Discriminating Gamer for Conan is buy it. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. We are The Discriminating Gamer, and I love the theme song, Conan and the Masters of the Universe. What's that? Not Conan either.
Again, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band.
Purple and blue. Is just the two that I activated?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Lucky people.
Okay.